Hello class, my name is Antonio Ramos, and today I want to talk to you all about leadership. However, I want to do it as it relates to the movie Remember the Titans. First, I'm going to talk to you about the coach's leadership styles, followed by which ones I would emulate and which ones I would not emulate. After that, I'm going to talk about Kelly's followership styles, and I'm going to end it with talking about the cultural differences that took place within the movie and how the coaches saw beyond those changes and how they even adapted to them and how it changed them. So first I want to discuss Coach Boone's leadership style. Now, I don't want to talk about the Crimson Tide, but when I was watching the movie, I couldn't help but to realize that Coach Boone was kind of exactly like the captain on Crimson Tide. Now, at the beginning of it, I thought that he was really humble. He had a lot of values. He didn't want to take Coach Yost's job because he mentioned that he himself was passed over for a job that he was qualified for, so he didn't think that was fair. And then when he went back home to his wife and kids, the entire neighborhood was cheering him on. He had their support, and he told them, "I'm not a prayer. Don't think of me that way." So I saw that he had a lot of values, but then whenever he got to the players and whenever they went to coaching, I saw that he was actually more authoritative than I had thought. For example, he actually told the players at one point, he told them, "This is not a democracy. My word is the law. This is a dictatorship." So and it's funny because in the Crimson Tide, the captain himself said, "Our mission is to preserve democracy, not to enact it." So I just kind of saw a nice little parallel between those two characters. However, even though he was authoritative and had a bit of an autocratic leadership style, beyond that, I saw that he was indeed a transformative leader. And the reason I think that is because that's exactly what he did. He transformed the team. They were separate. They didn't want to talk to each other. By the end of the movie, they were friends for life. And Coach Boone was really, really important to that. So ultimately, I consider him an autocratic leader with also transformative leader qualities. Coach Yost, on the other hand, initially I thought he was going to play a much more stronger role. He was going to be much more of a leader. But as the movie went on, I kind of saw that, yes, he was really soft-hearted. He was very kind. He cared for his team, and he did have the support of the community. But I didn't see him as being someone who was really much of a leader. Now, I want to explain that because initially, when he had the support of the team, he didn't buy into the hate. When he was at the bar, some of the adults were saying that they were going to protest the school, and even the players, they were saying they were going to quit. Now he told them, "Don't quit, don't protest." He didn't want them to buy into the hate, but ultimately I saw him to be as kind of like a laissez-faire leader, because he kind of just agreed with things and went on with Coach Boone's leadership style. He didn't really try to put anything else in there that was from him. He gave a lot of feedback to Boone. Sometimes he didn't even want it, but he just wasn't someone that tried to enact change. He kind of just followed through. Now, as far as which of those leadership styles I would want to emulate, if I'm completely honest, I'm going to have to go with neither one of them. Now, I'm going to explain that. So, Coach Boone was very autocratic. Me, personally, I can't be like that. I can't see myself as treating people as if they're just players on a football team. I have to see them as people. And Coach Yost, on the other hand, he was too soft. He didn't really do much of anything, in my opinion. I didn't really see him as taking too much of a charge and anything throughout the movie. He was much more laid back. So instead, what I would want to do was combine their good qualities. I want to take the humility that Yost had and the transformational aspects of Coach Boone, and then combine those and then be that kind of leader, which, if I'm honest, is kind of just like Hunter was on the Crimson Tide. He wasn't autocratic, and he was, in a way, transformational because he changed the minds of the team within the submarine. But that's the Crimson Tide. In sum, I want to be more like, I want to take their good qualities, which is the transformative leader part on Boone, and then just the kind-heartedness of Coach Yost. Now, Kelly's followership styles, one of them is alienated followers. And so those are very critical. They're very independent. They usually play the devil's advocate. For me, I kind of saw that as being Jerry. And so the reason why I thought that was because he got the team to follow and work with the black football players. He didn't buy into their own hate. He saw it as, okay, this is what we need to survive. We need to do that. He didn't care that the rest of the team didn't particularly want to do that. He wanted to do what was right. Well, he wanted to survive, which was to go along with Coach Boone. And so he made them listen. He didn't care what they themselves had to say. Now, conformist leaders, those are people that just kind of, like I said, go along with everything. They don't really like to challenge the status quo. And so an example of that to me was Coach Yost. Like I said, he was kind of a laissez-faire leader. He was the kind of leader to where he just didn't want to. He was kind of, I thought, afraid to challenge Boone. And so with them being equals, I didn't see that as he shouldn't have been afraid to challenge Boone. Let's see, pragmatic leaders, they adapt to the situation and they like to stay out of trouble. And so an example of that was Louis. He was a big guy. He was a big guy who, now he wasn't a bad follower or anything like that. He just kind of likes, he went along with everyone. He didn't really get into trouble. He was friends with everyone. He didn't really he didn't play a role of challenging anyone. He just kind of became friends with everyone. And I don't see that as being anything too bad. Now there are also passive followers. They don't display the characteristics of effective followers, and those are the kind of followers that just look to the leader to do their own thinking. Now, effective followers, on the other hand, they do think for themselves. They're very enthusiastic. They're energetic, and they take initiative and they stand up to the leader. Now, one of the situations I want to talk about that displays that is Jerry. Jerry, when he stepped up and kicked Ray off of the football team, I thought that was really, really wonderful. It showed that Boone had indeed been transformational because he made Jerry change his point of views. Initially, he didn't want to work with them, but with the black football players. But then later on, he ended up making Julius his own best friend. So the fact that Jerry changed his point of view, he changed how the kind of follower that he was, and he adapted to Boone's authoritative and transformational style. It shows a lot. It shows that Jerry had good discipline in being a follower, and that Coach Boone had a lot of great discipline in being a leader, to the point that he changed the mind of Jerry. And we saw that throughout the movie. He didn't like Judas at the beginning, but later he even lost his girlfriend because she didn't like Jerry. So that shows just the kind of profound effect that Boone had on Jerry himself. Now, in organizational behavior, we talk about forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. And so throughout the movie, I saw that, but it wasn't in the way, it wasn't in that exact order. Coach Boone did a lot to change their point of view. And so one of the ways that I saw that was in the very beginning. He actually told all the offensive team members to get on one bus and all the defensive team members to get on the other bus. And then they were going to become friends. He wanted them to become friends and to change their mind. And when they formed, they started to storm while they were training. One example was Ray. He didn't want to block for any of the black team members. And even at the beginning, they had a fight. And Boone made them break it up. And so one of the examples that Coach Boone did to try to overcome those differences is when he took them to the Gettysburg Address, to the Gettysburg Field, and he told them about what happened there. And he himself said, he told them that if they don't get along, they too will be destroyed. And so he wanted them to welcome change the same way that he did. And he helped them to reach that norming stage. There were multiple scenes where they were singing together, and I thought that was really profound. That was really nice. It showed that they went from being team members who hated working with each other to now finally just working together. Yost, I didn't see as being really integral to that. He didn't really play much of an important role in that, whereas Yost did. And it's funny because as they fought together, Coach Boone made them stumble together onto peace because of the things that he did to try to overcome the hate that was within the community. So in conclusion, I talked to you about the leadership styles of Coach Boone and Coach Yost. I talked about who I would follow, which was a combination of Coach Yost and Coach Boone. And I followed that up with the followership styles, and I talked about the cultural concerns that the coaches had to address and how Coach Boone played more of an important role in that than Coach Yost. Thank you.